Today on Denver Hot Rods, we head south to Colorado Springs for the Hot Rod Rock and Rumble. And we visit Lincoln Tech for their 10th annual car show. Then we check out Dwayne Helms' Model A Roadster. And on Hot Rod Builds, we show you how to re-arch the main leaf on a 32 Ford front spring. Then we go cruising at the Golden Super Cruise. In August, Pikes Peak International Raceway hosts the Hot Rod Rock and Rumble, which features drag racing, oval track racing, hot rods, customs, and of course, pinup girls. We caught up with hot rodder Nathan Maestas and his Model A Roadster.
So this here is a 1930 Ford Model A Roadster Deluxe. It has a Model B 4-banger in it, 32. It has a high compression head with a downdraft intake manifold and open headers. It has a mid-30s transmission. It has a rumble seat in the back. It's kind of a old school, traditional fenderless hot rod. I really appreciate the guy who built the car. I wish I could say I was the one who did, but I bought it from a gentleman who old-time hot rodder. But when he built the car, he went as traditional as you could. And that's what I love most about it. When I kind of growing up, always wanted to be a greaser, and my dream car was a hot rod Roadster, just like the kids had in the 50s. And when I was in high school, I kind of stood out from all the other kids because I dressed like a greaser with cuffed jeans and Converse and, you know, stereotypical greaser. And so I'm really happy to have this car. I don't like to say I own it, but that I'm just the caretaker.
Then we spoke with Dominic Olson about his 37 Ford.
I'm Dominic Olson. I have a hot rod shop in Colorado Springs. We do upholstery and hot rods and things. This is my 37 Ford coupe. And I built it when I was 14, 15 years old. So that's when I got it the first time, and that's when I had it finished. Same tree. That's what it looked like actually when I got it together the first time. Oh, I love the movie The California Kid, and my grandpa just thought it would be a good name. Just cool name. I don't know. It's got a Mustang 2 front suspension, Granada rear end, 350 Chevy small block, tuck and roll interior, cutouts, just traditional hot rod, really.
We also caught up with Sean Hillis and his 40 Ford pickup.
Well, my name is Sean Hillis. I'm Colorado native, the third generation Colorado native, and I've wanted a 1944 pickup since I was 7 years old. When I was 7 years old, I built the 124 scale monogram model of the 40 Ford, and from that point on, I said to myself, I'm going to have one of those someday. So here we are. This truck has the 327 Chevy and a 700 R4 transmission and a 8 1/4 Ford rear end. So it's kind of more modern running gear. So for reliability reasons, lowered the front end a little bit, lowered the rear end just a little bit. So kind of make it look a little more like a hot rod. It's not a hide. It's what they call ox blood. Not what I want. Thank you. So the interior is basically pretty stock, nothing fancy.
Lincoln College of Technology in Denver hosts an annual car show every year. We caught up with DJ Von Felt and his 1931 Model A coupe.
So my name's DJ Von Felt. It's a 31 Model A, box frame Z'd out frame, 283, small block in it. Weighs about 2,000 pounds. Little go-kart on steroids. A guy named Mark Briggs built it a couple years ago out of Watkins, and I acquired it. Redid all the motor work, put the topper on top of it, and cleaned it up a bit, and been enjoying it ever since. Rear end's a Ford 9-inch rear end. The transmission's a T5, yes, the T5. Yeah, the car was mostly built. I took over the engine work and redid new heads, new intake manifold, cams, stuff like that, and then some upholstery and rooftop work. But yeah, it's mostly built. A lot of people call it a rat rod. It's actually more of a traditional hot rod, just because it's not painted. A lot of people think it's a rat rod, but underneath it's all brand new, traditional hot rod stuff. A lot of fun to drive.
And we spoke to Michael McBride and his 1928 Model A Roadster pickup.
Michael McBride, live in Aurora, Colorado. 1928 Model A Roadster pickup, 350 small block Chevy V8. It's an automatic transmission. This was my dad's last vision. He built this in his 90s. It was his last big project. He did all the woodwork on it and kind of orchestrated everything else.
Dwayne Helms' Model A Roadster is a staple of Denver hot rodding. We spoke with Dwayne at the last all-Ford day at Sheridan High School.
I originally found it in an old lean-to on the property next door to me. My neighbor owned it. He mentioned that he had a Model A in the building, and I said, "What is it?" And he says, "Well, I think it's a coupe with the top cut off." And I said, "Would you be interested in selling it?" And he said, "Well, yeah." So I made arrangements with him to open the garage so I could get in and see it. And it was stacked clear to the ceiling with lumber and all different kinds of stuff. So I unloaded the top so to where I could get in there and look with the flashlight. And I seen it was a Roadster. So we made the deal. He said he wanted $300 for it. That's what he paid for it, and he wanted to get his money out of it. So that's how it started. It's a 28 34 chassis, the 48 Ford. It's basically stock other than the cam, adjustable lifters, and the heads and manifold. It has Edelbrock heads, and the manifold I kind of created on my own. It's a Herald two-piece manifold base, pieces of an Offenhauser on top of that. Takes 2 Stromberg carburetors. The dash is a 40 Ford, and I filled the ashtrays on the end and narrowed it to fit the cowl, which was pretty easy, a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. The rear wheels are Kelsey Hayes aftermarket. They call them milk truck wheels. They're 18-inch. The front ones are artillery wheels, and I'm not sure it's a 5.5-inch pattern, which is a Ford pattern, but I don't know what they were on. Steering box is a 37 Hudson. I had to do a little work on it to get it to mount flat on the frame and go through, but it works very well. The rear end is a 37 Ford with the Halloran quick change. I bought it at a swap meet. The airplane seats come out of a T-33 trainer, and they were about 3 inches too tall, so I shortened them 3 inches before I put them in. But they are and it's a matched pair. It has the serial numbers are the same. One's dash A and one's dash B, which is pilot co-pilot. Oh, the axle was a mess. It was old, stretched and bent and dropped. And I welded it all back up solid, and it's basically now like a filled axle. The 32 grill shell came with it. There were like 4 or 5 bars missing, which I made those. And that's about the end of it.
An easy way to lower the front end on a 32 Ford is to re-arch the main leaf of the front spring. First, put the main leaf on a level floor and mark the contour with a piece of chalk. Using a press, flatten out the main leaf carefully with small increments of pressure. We don't want to bend or kink the metal. Press the leaf all the way down from eye to eye and keep checking the contour with the chalk line on the floor. Once it's flat, flip the leaf over and start pressing on the leaf again with small increments until the contour matches up with the original contour of the spring. Then you will need to trim the ends off of the second leaf to fit with the main leaf. Now once it's bolted back together with the rest of the spring pack, you will have lowered the car about 1.5 inches from its stock height. You can also take some of the leaves out to lower the car even more. The first Saturday of the month between May and October means one thing in Colorado: the Golden Super Cruise. We took in the sights and sounds of cruise night in Golden.
Come to this thing every month.
I just come down, cruise around. That's about all I do. My name's Tom Wentworth. This is my 1932 Ford 502. Bought it in 2004. It was a clean car. Did a frame-off restoration. Basically, it was my dream car. Something I always wanted. My dad used to race one back in the 50s. And, something I always wanted to get a hold of. So found this one up in Fallon, Nevada, and it's my baby.
That's our show for today. We leave you now with more from the Hot Rod Rock and Rumble. Be sure to catch us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Take care.
ladies and gentlemen, we're